Come on now, let's tell the truth. Are we still bothered about this COVID-19? Welcome to your Millennial Unfiltered Mother podcast, aka your Mum podcast. I'm your host, Christiana, and welcome back to another episode. So I hope we're all doing well. I hope we're all keeping safe and getting on best as we can. So I wanted to raise the question, are we desensitized to COVID-19 now? Are we still as shook as we were 3 months ago? Over the last 3 months, 3.5 months, however long it's been, we as like a nation, as a world, as everyone have been through the maddest time. 2020 did not come to play no games, yeah? Top of the year, everybody was all like, 2020 vision, 2020 goals, this is it, this is the year, this is the beginning. And that's great, do you know what I mean? But that was like the general energy that was around the top of the year. Who would have thunk, right, that we would have been on a worldwide lockdown due to, a global pandemic? None of us would have predicted this. Not a one of us. Even when we were hearing about it going on in China, when it first started last year, maybe a small percentage of people were like, oh, this ain't sounding good. But the majority of us were just carrying on our lives, right up until we were locked down. So when this was all starting, yes, the death rate was through the roof. It was through the roof. It really was. It was spreading like no one's business. The hospitals were complete chocker. And we really, really were playing our part in terms of staying home, not going out, encouraging our friends to stay home. We really did listen to those rules. The majority of us did anyway. Yeah, you got the small percentage of people who, took this as some holiday, as some public holiday and have just been running street anyway. And a lot of that was going on, but because in the beginning, the lockdown was like quite confusing. The rules are all confusing. And it wasn't until like a week later where, Boris Johnson had to make it like, okay, literally do not leave your house. Like, he had to talk to the nation like a bunch of kids. If your friends ask you to come out, just say no. Like, do you know what I mean? It in the beginning stage, it was that deep. And I think at that point, we were taking it a lot more serious. And, of course, the death rate was really high. And it was a struggle for you to even go to hospital. You were advised to stay in if you had a cough, a this, a that. You were told to shield, quarantine, don't go around no one. You're going to really seriously affect your family if you go anywhere near them. Fear was put inside us. So we listened to those guidelines. Me, myself, I shielded for like a good 8 weeks. I was supposed to shield for, I think, 12, but I could only manage 8. And, I took it very, 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 very serious. And I still do. But yeah, time has passed. And, we've seen a lot of fuckery going on, during this global pandemic, right? A lot of it, being the police doing the most, do you know what I mean, when it comes to black people, or doing the most to just anyone that they see out, just being overzealous with just the way they do their job. I don't know where they find these people, I don't know where they find these people. I don't know what kind of training that they're doing for these people, because they're doing it all wrong. Do you understand? I really need some kind of insider knowledge about what these people are being trained to do. How these people are being trained, because I don't understand. I tried to get a few bits from Michael Boateng from Love Island when he spoke about his experience, but I still need more. I need to know which kind of training, because they're all mad. I don't want to hear nothing about, they're not all that bad. They're not all that. Yes, they are. They are. Because the racism in this country is systemic. Listen, I've gone off on a tangent, but I'll bring it back. Because anytime I think about them people, honestly, I get so mad, So over the last sort of few months, it's been mad, racism has been rife. It really has been on social media platforms, all the videos that we're seeing of the way police are handling people and things like that. And we're still seeing these things today. And, there've been a lot of police killings, killing innocent black people around the world, mainly in America. So the death of George Floyd, right, was, what really just was the straw that broke the camel's back. And the protests, began. At this point, we're like, 2.5 months into, lockdown. And this happened where we all saw, the senseless killing of George Floyd. And it sparked, worldwide protests. Now, these protests are happening in the midst of a global pandemic. So it begs the question, if they'd have done this heinous crime, this murder, if they'd have done this murder in March, late March, when lockdown was in full force, death rate was high, would we have protested the way we are protesting now? Yes, there would have been global outrage. Of course. We would have been online. We would have been signing petitions. We would have been donating. We would have been doing all of that, because all of that also contributes to our cause. Do you understand? So we would have, yes, of course, done that. But would we have been out on these streets late March, forgetting all the rules, forgetting what they're telling us, putting on our face coverings and protesting, had they did this earlier on? Do you know what I mean? Because at that point, people were still very much, and the coronavirus is killing black people more than anyone else. This disease is killing us more than anyone else. Do you know what I mean? So if they'd have done this to George Floyd just a bit earlier, would we have been this, heavily protesting worldwide? Because it's the fact that we're doing it now, an indication that, look, this coronavirus thing, it is what it is at this point. You can't keep us locked indoors no more. Not when you're out in these streets doing this. Do you know what I mean? So it's not that people are not taking, coronavirus seriously. It's this is my opinion, right? It's not that we're not taking it seriously. It's not that it's gone. It's still very much there. People are still dying. Do you understand? And it's still affecting black people more than anyone else. But how do you just stay in when so much injustice is just rife and it's just blatant? You can't. We do what we can. We wear our face coverings. We try to maintain some level of distance, which is very hard because people are showing up and showing out, right, for these protests, as they should. But a lot of people are. It did get to a point, I think, after sort of 2 months, where people when they started to ease it a bit, when they started to now chat rubbish about support bubbles, whatever the hell that is, and you can go to the park. From when they start saying, you can go to the park, you can meet up to 2 people, up to 3 people, up to 6 people, you can have support bubbles, Rat-tat-tat, rat-tat, rat-tat-tat, rat-tat-tat. That's when everybody was like, okay, cool. And, it's still not very clear. But at the end of the day, I can come out. It gets to a point where you're locked in for however many long, yeah? And you start thinking, well, do you know what? It is what it is at this point. Like, I catch it. I don't. But I can't live like this. The way we work is different. So many people I know are now working from home pretty much indefinitely or for the rest of the year. And that's it. No more office, no more of that. They literally work from home. Everything is super virtual. Apps that you wouldn't have ever thought to use before, you're on every day now. Do you know what I mean? So we're moving in that direction. And I kind of understand that because it did, like I said, I was shielding for 8 weeks. And for me, it did get to a point where I was like, forget this, man. I'm not shielding no more. I get why I was made to shield because I have a medical history. And it's like, if you catch this COVID deal, the risk is too high. So shield is the reason. And that's very understandable. But for how long do I do that? Now, that's not to say that I don't think COVID-19 is about. It's about. But I can't not live my life. Now there are rules where you cannot get on public transport without a face covering. And, okay, I understand that. But for me, I'm not always wearing face coverings, especially when I'm with my son, because he can't see my face. He can only see my eyes. And we are on a road. I'm talking to him. I'm communicating with him. Do you know what I mean? And he can't hear a word I'm saying. He cannot see my expressions. So it's hard for me to communicate with him with a mask on my face. So I'd rather not wear it. Even if I have an advisor, he's going to think it's a toy, it's a game. He's not going to take me seriously with it on. And even when I wear visors, people say, oh, I can't even hear you. Because I'll be wearing visors. They're like, oh, I can't hear you. And it's like, well, you can see my face. So it's just this blocking of, do you know what I mean? But so I take it seriously. I'm still taking it seriously. I'm still very much, aware that it's out there. But I cannot be covering my face like that constantly. Even though I was told to shield. Especially when I'm with my son. When I'm alone, when I'm by myself, yeah, okay, cool. Do you know what I mean? I'll wear it just to follow the rules and set a good example. But when I'm with my kid now, I can't be wearing it. On any transport, on any nothing. Do you know what I mean? Because he needs to be able to see my face. He needs to be able to read my expression. And people may look at me like, she ain't even got a face covering on. She ain't even... Well, I don't know what to tell you. I am taking it seriously. And if I see you all talk... Listen, do you know what pisses me off actually about people, right? It's the people that will jump on the train and the people that will jump on the bus and their face masks are on their chin. Why are you even wearing it at this point? Because you've just jumped on a train, you and your little brethrens, all your face masks are on your chin and you're there laughing, kiki and ha-ha and talking. Is this not what we're supposed to be avoiding? The transmission of all this fluid coming from your dusty ass mouth. That is, if anything, that pisses me off the most. It's when people are just wearing it on their chin, on the bus, on the phone. Rare. Is this the exact thing we're not supposed to avoid? So you just having it hanging on your ears, it's no better than me not having anything on at all. Because at least I'm considerate. I'm not having big full-blown conversations. I'm quiet. And if I'm talking, I've got my head down. So, yes, around me, it would seem people are desensitized. Look, there's block parties going on. Yeah, I'm talking full-blown festivals, illegal raves going on. Because people just want to be around other people. People just want to be drinking, having fun, doing all this stuff. For me, it's not that deep. For me, it's not that deep. But I kind of understand why it is for other people, especially people younger than me. Do you know what I mean? I don't agree with these illegal raves. I don't agree with these like big, massive block parties. I think they're just reckless. They're reckless. And I kind of feel like some people just think because it hasn't personally affected me or anybody that I know, this ain't the thing. And that's what I find really ignorant. Because you only have to, speak to somebody else who it's affected. You only have to listen to the news. You only have to, just be a bit more mindful. And then you'd know that, no, this isn't fake. This isn't a myth. I'm hearing that a lot. Oh, this is a myth now. And it's from people who have not personally been affected by coronavirus. Who are just, at this point, desensitized to it. So I even question, are the government desensitized to it? All these restrictions you're restricting. Oh, yeah, you're opening pubs. You're opening bars before you're opening, industries that will make a bit more sense. That won't be as what's the word I'm looking for? As just opening pubs and bars. So pubs and bars opened 4th of July. I work at a bar. I'm head of sales at a bar, and I was there at the opening. And how we did it was very, very responsible, spacious. We adhered to the rules, and it was good vibes. But when I saw videos and images of people in other parts of the country doing the absolute most, I'm like, wow. Coronavirus where? And at this point, all this park that you're letting everyone park, all of this bubble that you're letting everyone do, just let everyone go back to work at this point. Because at least people will be out with things to do. At least people will be out making actual money. This lockdown isn't no lockdown. So I even wonder if the government are even now desensitized to it. Because all this talk of second wave, yeah? Have we even over the first one? All this talk of second wave. Let me just tell you lot now. If there is a spike, do you actually think we're going back to another lockdown? We ain't going back to no next lockdown, nothing. Yeah? They're not going to do it to their economy. They're going to be like, well, we're just going to have to live like this. They're going to give us any random vaccine and say, take this. This is what we'll do. Like, we're not about to get into no next lockdown. Because the economy means more to the Conservatives. So I think generally we are becoming a bit more desensitized to it. We are. In the way we move. We're obviously walking a lot more freely. And, we're seeing our family, we're seeing our friends. We're just carrying on as we used to an extent. But this is a new type of normal, and we have to move a lot smarter, and we have to have each other's backs at this point because so many people were affected by this. So many lives were lost at the hands of coronavirus, and this isn't something that we should be taking lightly at all at this point. Try to live some kind of life and not walk in fear and things like that, but use sense. Just use sense. And that's my take on that. If you want to add anything, come chat to me. There's a few people that I've actually spoken to, and I need to actually start scheduling podcasts with them, and I will. But you know me, I just jump on here when I just want to talk about something. But yeah, if you do want to come chat with me, send me an email, yourmumpodcast@gmail.com, and I'd be happy to have you. In the meantime, keep safe and be happy. And I'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.